What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming back with episode number 5 of my team. So here we go for episode 5 at the Chinese Grand Prix. One of the less liked circuits for me on the calendar, but either way, we have to go through them all. And after last time's disappointment in Vietnam, finishing in the points but not getting any points because that 5-second penalty was not ideal for a team like us that, are going to struggle to score points on a week-to-week basis. So we'll have to move on, put that behind us, and move to the Chinese Grand Prix and hope for a better result. So we'll see how that all goes down. You can see here, trying to get some upgrades on the car as quickly as possible just to improve the car to get us closer to the points. Fortunately, upgrades in this game take a little bit longer, which is actually a good thing. I think it's a lot more realistic. I like that, actually. But also, durability upgrades failed, so that not going to help the pace of the car, but not ideal either to have that fail. Just sets you back in terms of resource points. So we'll redevelop that, and hopefully we can focus on getting the car better in the future Grand Prix. So without further ado, let's get into China qualifying, as here is my first run in Q1 as we come around the last corner and come across the line. And not a bad opening lap, ahead of Raikkonen there, so a good sign to be ahead of him early on. Here is the end of Q1 now. This is our last chance. We're currently in 14th place, so we're going through the Q2, but we do need to improve that lap time, hopefully, and we lock up coming into the hairpin, turn 14, and now we're down in our time, and we're not going to improve in the last corner, unfortunately, so bad mistake here. Hopefully that doesn't knock us out to Q1 here as we come across the line. Are we still into Q2? We are just in 16th place there, so we just survived, but for the second consecutive race, we are through to Q2, so this is a promising sign, and we can move forward. Unfortunately, our teammate Hubert gets knocked out in Q1, only 20th on the grid. Also out is Grosjean and Giovinazzi, the two Williams cars. So we will progress here through to Q2, and we will end the first lap in P9, so 9th place there, and hopefully that's a good banker lap. But we're going to come around now to go on our second lap, and we'll show this lap in at full. So we will come through now to turn 1. Gonna go in there hot. This is one of the longest corners though, this turn 1-2 complex. Down the second gear, hold it in second for the left-hander. Now short shifting from third and to fourth gear to get the power down. On the run now to turn 6, braking just after the 100-meter board, and back down the second gear. Once again, short shifting on the exit for reduced wheel spin. Now coming to the left-hander, this is going to be flat out, especially in qualifying. And the right-hander back to fifth gear actually, and then back to third gear for the double left, trying to get on the power as smoothly as possible and not trying to spin up those rear wheels. Now coming into the left-hander of turn 11, and now through 12 here, trying to be as smooth on the throttle as possible. Need to get a great run here for turn 13, as we do. We've dropped to 10th place, so this lap is critical to get in now, and we are improving on this lap. We opened our as we now go to 11th place, so we definitely need to set a good lap time here. Looking for the 100-meter board coming into the hairpin, and we get stopped just about, lock up a little bit on the front right, and short shift in the 4th, and now through the gears, back to 5th, use the curb, use all the track, open the DRS, go to the line, and we move into 10th place, into Q3 for the second consecutive race. A lot tighter here in in China, but we get it done like we did in Vietnam, and we're through to Q2 for the second consecutive race, showing that car has had improvements to it. So into Q2, and hopefully we can do something with that in Q3. Also out Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Daniel Kvyat, and Kimi Raikkonen. So we're through to Q2 along with Stroll, Perez, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, and the top guys. But here we go is our Q3 lap as we come through the left-hander once again, flat out. And then this is our only run in this session, so need to make it count. As we're coming through the left-hander, short shift to 4th, into 5th, as we now come to turn 11, trying to use all the road possible back to 2nd gear, short shift to 3rd, try not to touch that outside curb, it stops your momentum, and we're on the power, losing the rear end, we've lost the rear end, we get back on the power, we've lost it completely. So unfortunately it's only going to be 10th place here in Q3 for us today, but to be honest, I didn't think that we had more in the car than 10th place. I even checked the sector times, and we wouldn't have gone to 9th place by the look of it, so that is fine with me. 10th place it will be for the Chinese Grand Prix. So there we go.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Bottas, Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel.
So now we're back here in the main hub, and deciding for an upgrade. We got the resource points after qualifying, and it would be good to get something on the car. So I'm thinking of this rear wing update, but then I didn't realise I would actually have enough points for both the updates to the front wing as well, so we're going to do that as well to hopefully help the aerodynamics for tracks like Monaco, or Spain as well. So hopefully that can come in the coming few weeks. So without further ado, let's get to the race.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today, someone of tremendous experience and insight. It's the man himself, Anthony Davidson.
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? So we're in for an exciting start then, I'm sure, and then they'll all start to settle down a bit and try and find a rhythm as they plan the next phase of the Grand Prix. It's important to know when to push and when to hold back so as not to overcook those tyres early on.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Stroll, and the captain, Norris, Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and Ocon, Kvyat, Raikkonen, Romain Grosjean, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Hubert, Latifi, Magnussen and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now, it's almost time for lights out.
So everyone, welcome here to the Chinese Grand Prix. Here today, a 2-stop strategy. That's kind of what hurt you about making it through to Q3 here in China. It might have been better for us to actually be 11th on the grid or something like that, because great, we got through to Q3, got the extra grid position, but now we're going to do a 2-stop strategy where you can see the guys behind on the medium tyres. So the soft tyre is really just a qualifying tyre around this track, unfortunately. So anyway, here we go as the revs arrives here for the Chinese Grand Prix. And it's go in China as we get a decent start once again. Seems like starts have been good for us on this year's game. So we now run into turn 1. But we can't do anything with the 2 Racing Point cars in front. Can we maybe sneak down the inside? There's a gap there. Oh, we didn't go for it, unfortunately. Just being a bit conservative with that front wing on the early stages of this Grand Prix, as we now are racing with Lando Norris, a real oversteer moment on the exit, and now he's pulling alongside us here into turn 6 as we a little bit deeper on the brakes. But the two racing points still side by side with Perez and Stroll. Yellow flags in the background, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But green flags now, so it's all okay as we understeer really widely through turn 7. Now we come into turn 8, but nothing annoying for Lando Norris. We're able to hold on to P10 and we'll follow the Racing Points cars. We've got to make the most of this time in the opening laps on the soft tyres compared to the guys behind on the medium tyre, so we'll just have to try and pull a gap over Lando Norris and try and stick with Perez and Stroll. I think that's who we're racing today, and if we can maybe make it back up towards Norris and the likes of the guys behind us, we'll try to do that later on in the Grand Prix. I really do think it's going to be a struggle to beat the guys that are going to one stop, but we'll see how it goes as we now come into turn 13 for the first time, and we now just need to settle down and pull the gap behind to Norris, Ocon, Ricciardo behind. So two are fighting today, and plus the two Racing Point cars ahead. So you can see that over-revving the gearbox quite a bit. Not what I'm trying to do. As you see, because of that, Norris gets such a good run, and I got such a poor run, we were able to dive back at the inside. Reason for this is my wheel is seemed to be struggling, especially that day with my upshift. My downshift is fine, but seems upshift it either won't upshift when I want it to sometimes, or it will do a double shift. So I'll go from second gear to fourth gear with one click. A little bit frustrating, but just kind of having to deal with it for now. But anyway, we're into the pit lane now. We're doing an undercut here. We're supposed to come in, I think, lap 6. Lap 6 was supposed to come in, but I wanted to come in a couple laps earlier, try and get ahead of the two Racing Point cars. Actually, no, we were supposed to come in at the end of lap 4, the end of this lap, but I came in at the end of lap 3. Yeah, that's right. But trying to get ahead of the two Racing Point cars, almost put it in the wall at the final corner. But that's what I was trying to do, get an undercut on those guys, because those soft tyres were going off. You can see Carlos Sainz, who was ahead of us already on track, he is coming out of the pit lane now, and he was ahead of us, sorry. He came out, but the Racing Points actually stayed out till lap 6, and they went straight onto the hard tyres, so their strategy was to do soft to hards, where our team was to do soft, medium, then hard. So Perez already and Stroll already onto the hard tyre, as the other Racing Point of Stroll is coming in this lap. So we now have a battle on our hands with Carlos Sainz ahead, and we are directly racing him with a two-stop strategy. Perez and Stroll in the Racing Points on a one-stop going to the end of the Grand Prix on their hard tyres, so we have to make up the pace now and then come back at them a little bit later. So we're pulling away from those guys behind, but Sainz is getting stuck behind George Russell here, and we're going to have to go into Sainz' slipstream here. He pulls out, so we go back in the Russell slipstream. We're going to have to make a dive here on George Russell in the Williams car, and we go down the inside of him. We're almost going to go down the inside of Carlos Sainz, and we're in contact with him on his left rear tyre. Fortunately, no damage for us, but a good move there on George Russell. We had to get past him, or else we would have been held up for the next lap, or until turn 1 maybe. But now Sainz, you can see he's been held up by Latifi for this whole entire lap, so see what I mean? You can't afford to get stuck behind these guys for too long. You can see the two Racing Points behind George Russell already, and you can see the dirty air effect in this game, almost going off the track there at full throttle in a flat corner. But Sainz gets easily past Latifi. Now it's our turn to do the same. Latifi's going to go defensive. We're going to go to the outside. Much more confidence on the fresher tyres in the better car, and we go right around his outside. Just had a lot more grip, and so we move into 18th place here now, chasing after Sainz. So he's now caught up to the back of Magnussen. Here it's lap 13 though in the Grand Prix now. We've moved a few laps. We've pulled away from the two Racing Point cars, but we'll still have to pull that gap even further if we want to catch up with them later in the Grand Prix. As Sainz gets past Kevin Magnussen, we cannot do the same here into the hairpin, unfortunately. But I noticed that Carlos Sainz did have more pace than us. We didn't have the pace to exactly go with him. He got to Magnussen a lap or two before I did it. Perfectly works out for us as Magnussen pulls into the pits, and we get the DRS. Also some of the top guys coming into the pit lane, and we move up a few positions. We're now running in 7th here on the lap 15, and yeah, just chipping away, trying to catch up to Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, we don't have the same pace as him, but this is also our in-lap. When we come in, put the hard tyres on, you can see the Racing Point cars just behind. We've got a lot of work to do if we want to beat them today. Unfortunately, this two-stop strategy isn't working out. We haven't shown enough pace on the soft and medium tyre. Maybe I got the strategy slightly wrong by coming in early. I didn't realise the Racing Point cars were on completely different strategies. I was just trying to get ahead of him, which I did. The undercut did work, as we now come back out on the hard tyre. And now we've got a lot of work to do. We're back in 17th place. We are going to the end of the Grand Prix. So, on the slowest tyre as well, it's going to be very difficult. You can see we're just behind Giovinazzi and our teammate Antoine Hubert. So, that's good to know. But there's a lot of work to be done to get any kind of points today. So, we know we've got pace in the car. We've got DRS here on Giovinazzi. He's unfortunately got DRS on our teammate. So, it's going to be tough to overtake the best engine on one of the in the grid. We know that Alpha's very quick on the straight. We're going to go for the dive anyway. He doesn't really leave us the space, so we're going to just have to wait behind. We probably need to be a bit more convincing on that dive. We now go off the track at the last corner completely, so finding it difficult to get past the Alfa Romeo with that straight line speed with that Ferrari engine. And at this stage, I'm thinking maybe you can do it in a different part of the track. You can see Sainz has just come out just ahead of us as well now. So now that's just really starting to hurt us. Maybe if we had stayed out another lap, maybe we would have been ahead with Carlos, but unfortunately it hasn't worked out for us that way. But we need to get past Giovinazzi, and we get a great run here through turn 8, trying to get on the throttle early. Now we're going to make a look down to turn 9. Giovinazzi closes the door, we make contact, we spin, we break the front wing just a little bit, as now one of the Haas's slipped through, and that was really unfortunate. He gets lap 17 in this Grand Prix, and any chance of points are now definitely out the window if there was a chance. So, you know, really unfortunate situation that happened there with the Alfa Romeo driver, but you know, it is what it is. I took a chance on a dive. He closed the door. I wasn't far enough up alongside, unfortunately, and these things happen. So, yeah, tough day at the office so far. So hopefully we can just try and catch up to Kevin Magnussen here as we go deep into the hairpin now. Struggling with the front wing damage already, and now the goal is really just to beat the two Williams cars here today. So disappointing result as we now move to lap 20 in this Grand Prix, and Giovinazzi's actually got past our teammate Hubert, and so has Kevin Magnussen. So now there's yellow flags, and the yellow flags is not looking good for our teammate Antoine Hubert. He's unfortunately out of this Grand Prix with problems, but one car's fall is another car's grace here today for Zeno Racing, as a safety car is deployed, and we have got a huge lifeline here, as now I'm going to go onto a set of medium tyres here. I thought I didn't think the softs could go to the end here, so I'm going to go back onto a medium set. I didn't realise, though, this was the medium set we used earlier in the Grand Prix. Now Lance Stroll is out of the Grand Prix, so even better news for us. That's one less car we have to overtake now. But I'll come into the pit lane for a new set of tyres. So yeah, I'll come in for that medium set. I didn't think the softs would get to the end. Unfortunately for me, I didn't realise at the time that the medium tyres were not brand new. They were in fact the ones we used earlier in the Grand Prix, so that was quite disappointing. So now we're on really old medium tyres, and I can't use these tyres. I for sure can't use these tyres. So I'm going to come back into the pit lane and put on a set of soft tyres, and just hopefully they make it to the end of the Grand Prix. There's 6 laps to go, they should be fine. So they have done a qualifying lap, but hopefully we can use these tyres, get them to the end of the Grand Prix, and be really effective. They should be quick. I don't know if we'll score points today, but there's going to be 4 laps, and hopefully we can do some damage. We had to use a little bit of the tyre to get back around to the pack, but you know, that is what it is. We've got Sergio Perez directly ahead. He's also come in, but he actually came in for another set of medium tyres, which he didn't use. So he had a fresh set of mediums. But you can see there, I'm really struggling with my wheel now, 24 laps in. It had actually been quite good to me for the first 24 laps, but as soon as that safety car started, it just started to be a bit of a struggle with my wheel. But I was hoping it wouldn't cause me too many problems. Well, it's already caused me a big problem off this restart, as well. Nowhere near the back of Sergio Perez coming into turn 1, 2 and 3. So now on the exit of turn 4, you can see I'm really struggling there. You can see it wouldn't shift, and then all of a sudden I'm in 5th gear. So just absolutely spamming the upshift button, but we're still tracking along here, even though we're definitely revving our engine way too much. But you can see, look at the grip I have here on the soft tyres. Unfortunately, Perez just closed the door on me, but I had such a good run. I even get past George Russell here on the hard tyres. So, you know, that Mercedes engine working well for me there compared to the other 2 Mercedes cars. So that was a good thing. I definitely had good tyres at this point in the Grand Prix, but you know, now I've got damage once again to my front wing just because I don't know what Perez was doing there, but you can see just absolutely revving the shit out of this engine with my wheel, just absolutely not working, which is really a shame for me. But you know, we got Nicholas Latifi ahead in the Williams, and we can definitely get past him. We definitely got a better machinery and tyres at this point, and we're going to go for the dive here. A great dive, actually. Didn't even lock up the front tyre. Made that move stick really well. As we now move to lap 27, 2 laps to go, we're behind Kevin Magnussen, and let's see if we can get past him on the hard tyres. He's having a shocking run out at turns 3 and 4, and now we're absolutely revving our engine. We could have been maybe side by side. He goes defensive, he locks up as well. We're going to drive right around the outside, and we have so much more grip that we actually make that move stick. So we're still struggling to pull gears, but we are able to move into 16th place here. Now we're chasing down Jay Venezzi, who we had contact earlier in the Grand Prix, so it would be pretty nice to be able to beat him, but we are absolutely struggling with our upshifts here. As you can see here, on the exit turn 13, just no luck at all with the upshifting, and we lose a few places more, and now, just really unfortunate. We're now stuck behind Perez and Magnussen, who you got past both the Williams cars, but no luck for us today here in China. Unfortunately, just didn't go our way, whether it was racing side by side or my wheel playing up. So unfortunately, it's only 18th place today.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Esteban Ocon. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of his tyres, and he showed that today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So, a great day for Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. Not such a good day for Zeno Racing, as we have a DNF and an 18th place finish. But we wouldn't have scored any points today. Carlos Sainz, who was ahead of us the whole race, only finished at 13th place. So that was really unfortunate, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, we'll have to move on. We showed some good pace on Saturday in qualifying, as we can see now. Still going to get a bit of a boost from Tabor Clay. We'll get some cash flow for getting the sponsor objectives, but unfortunately, damage sustained to both cars loses a little bit of money, which is really unfortunate. But now we're going to have to move on to the next race, which will take place at the Dutch Grand Prix. For the first time, we're going to the Netherlands, so that will be at Zandvoort. So we'll see that next time out, which is going to be hopefully a good race for us. But you can see we got a lot of bits coming in the works. We got a side on the powertrain, durability, and 2 bits on the aerodynamics. Also a bit on the chassis. So the team, the staff in all departments are hard at work trying to improve this car to get it faster as quickly as possible. But also, we need to make improvements to the facilities themselves to help fast track. So here I'm just deciding maybe I should make a purchase for one of the facilities. I'm thinking between if it should be powertrain or chassis department at this point, but I'm thinking of leaning towards that powertrain department. That's where you need to work in these games on your engine, and those Ferrari cars are very quick, and we are the worst Mercedes car. So hopefully we can save some resource and money there, and time really is what that should help us with. So, but really money, because it's just reducing that chance of having a failing bit. Just looking at all these departments, this marketing one seems interesting. That could help us in the future. But we'll see how it goes. Moving into Zandvoort, hopefully we get some of those bits on the car. It looks like we could, but unfortunately, there you go. We get a failed part.
Where we're able to attract a new sponsor to the team. Head over to the corporate tab and select the sponsors screen to choose who we should approach.
So, new sponsor we can get for the car, which will help with a little bit of the cash flow, and also get more money in, and also just another sponsor to have on the car. So immediately the roll dampers, we're going to have to fix that bit, and hopefully that can arrive at a later date, unfortunately, maybe for the Spanish Grand Prix. So yeah, we'll have to fix that. But now we also have this press interview, by the looks of it, with Will Buxton. But, first we'll just fill in these events. Looking for something to fill your time with. Very important, it seems, in this year's game. Help the team with resource points, morale, cash flow, your second driver. So these events are important. They're important to fill them with the way and direction you want your team to go. But now let's get ready for a Will Buxton interview.
In the HQ of our newest Formula One team, we've got an awful lot to talk about, so let's jump straight in. Will your team be going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
Constructors' Championship this season. That's seems a little out of reach for us as a team. We struggle to get through to Q2, but
You've been struggling to get points this season. What are the key areas of improvement you need to make to the team?
not to crash in the race would help. But yeah, just to generally improve the car. I think that would honestly help us get more points. So yeah, an improvement of the car. That's how I see it. It's hard to. That's really a difficult question to answer. Sorry, as a owner driver. Yes, how will you find a way to get points? Well, if I knew, I would just do that. But yeah.
Your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development?
Not really. Anton's just doing the best job he can.
Would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team?
Not necessarily. I want both drivers to do well. Obviously, I think I can beat Anton anyway, but, I want both drivers to do. I want the team to score points. I think fine. Anton's not done the best job so far in the opening races, but I am hoping he can improve for the future Grand Prix.
It's been wonderful to spend some time with you. Best of luck out on track.
But now it's time to add that secondary sponsor. It's our second secondary sponsor, so that will help us with the cash flow on the car, and it will just be something else to make the car look a little bit less naked. So yeah, we'll have a look through the options here. Obviously, money to us at this point with a young team is probably quite important. We already got the Atlantic sponsor, which pays us quite well and is a pretty simple objective. Unfortunately, we didn't. Sometimes you don't achieve those, but most of the time, I make sure you do. I think we didn't. Where didn't we achieve that? I'm not sure, but we have achieved it at every Grand Prix. Actually, I think so. It's been quite easy money to make 75 laps between the two cars at a race weekend, even if Antoine didn't finish the last couple in China. We made it work. So now we're looking through for our second sponsor objective, and it looks like we're going to go. I'm thinking about going with the option Pantine, I believe is how you say it. So that's what I believe will be the best option for us. Pantine. No, not Pantine. Penite. I don't know how to pronounce that, to be honest. But yeah, there we go. On the car. Got to finish 12th or above, and we get that goal bonus. But we also get a good weekly income for them. So now I will put that stuff on the car, and that's what we got going. We got Pacifico, Atlanta, and Pantine. I don't really know how to pronounce that. But anyway, guys, that's been today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe to plenty more F1 2020 My Team content. Next video will be at the Dutch Grand Prix around Zandvoort for the first time in over 30 years for F1 cars, I believe. So that will be very exciting. Until then, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.